So recently, I've been playing Fire Emblem Engage, which is the latest entry in the Fire Emblem gaming franchise. And as a long-time veteran Fire Emblem player since Fire Emblem Awakening, obviously I just had to play the latest Fire Emblem entry. Unfortunately, I've not been impressed by what Fire Emblem Engage has had to offer thus far, and I can't help but just feel that this is a massive step in the wrong direction for the franchise. The gameplay in Fire Emblem Engage is annoyingly slow-paced, sleep-inducingly boring, and just downright unfair. First, it takes ages to even take a turn in this game, as all the battle animations are these very long, over-the-top, goofy Dragon Ball-esque sequences. Like every battle you initiate, first the camera will slowly zoom in on the two units fighting, and then you just have to watch them awkwardly take turns exchanging blows for like a minute. And whenever your character procs a critical strike or an ability, the game just goes into this over-the-top Genshin Impact ripoff theatric that just gets very annoying once you've seen it a couple times already. Like, I just want to play a strategy game, not watch the same pre-made animations for 20 minutes. Anyways, after you go through about 10 minutes of choosing your actions and watching them play out awkwardly, the AI then takes their turn, and this just adds another couple minutes of you just watching these pain-inducingly slow battle animations. Now, 9 out of 10 times, what happens is that one of your units will die, and this basically means you lose the map since there is a perma-death mechanic in this game. And the thing is, the reason you die is always due to RNG, whether it's the enemy critting you, you failing to evade an attack, an ability not proccing, or so on. There's never really a time I lost a unit in this game and thought, oh whoops, that's 100% my fault. Anyways, whenever one of your units die in this game, what you do is you just rewind the turns and you replay the turns until you get favorable RNG and none of your units die. And I wouldn't really classify this gameplay as skillful or strategic, rather I would just classify it as a massive waste of time. And the only difference between playing at harder difficulties is that you just reset the turns more since the RNG favors you less. Think of it this way, on easy mode you only have to flip 1 heads on 1 coin, on normal mode you have to flip 2 heads on 2 coins, and on hard mode you have to flip 3 heads on 3 coins. What I'm getting at is that bragging about beating a higher difficulty in Fire Emblem Engage just outs yourself as a no-life, non-sex haver who is deceived into thinking you are so smart because you are able to beat unfavorable odds after 1,000 retries. In reality, playing at a higher difficulty level in this game would make you dumb, as it shows you clearly have no understanding on the law of large numbers. And I say this as someone who does habitually like to play games at their highest difficulty setting, but in the case of Fire Emblem Engage, I could tell as a mathematically inclined individual that playing this game at a high difficulty setting was a massive waste of time, which is unfortunate because I do like difficult games. The other annoying thing about the gameplay is that the AI can take advantage of the exact same mechanics that you can, which are called chain guard and chain attack. And though this might sound well and fair, the thing you have to remember is that you have to kill all the enemy AI units to win, whereas the AI only has to kill one of your units to win. It's like if I played a chess grandmaster and was able to claim victory because I killed one of their pawns. That's obviously just ridiculous and silly, and this was not the case in old school Fire Emblem games like Awakening, for example, where only you could take advantage of the pair-up mechanic. And I gotta be honest, I think it's about time that the series just does away with this permadeath mechanic, as I don't really see the need for it, especially considering the people just reset their turns anyways when a character dies. It just feels like a very outdated, archaic mechanic that is just not even serving any useful purpose anymore. And really, it's just making the overall balance of the game worse and strategy very dull. Since you're always scared of your units dying in this game, the strategy is basically to clump up your units in this massive death ball and just slowly roll your way through the enemy. It's just really dull, really boring, and really just not engaging at all strategically. Now, lots of people on Reddit were very upset that the main character of the previous Fire Emblem game, Bleth, was super hot. Well, if you're one of those Redditors, congratulations, you did it, as the protagonist for Fire Emblem Engage is definitely not hot and in fact is literally a clown. And this isn't me having a go at the artist at all. I think the character is well done technically and whatnot, but when you're assigned to draw a mascot for Firecracker Popsicle, the results just won't be very aesthetically appealing. Now, as for the other characters in Fire Emblem Engage, well, unfortunately, they are all fake, cringy, and woefully uninspired. Each each character is just a lazy copy-paste job of stereotypical anime tropes like tsundere, dondere, genki, and so on, and you can pretty much predict everything they will say and do if you've just seen a couple anime in your time. And they all look overly happy with colorful hair and trendy outfits. Like honestly, every character in this game looks more like a boba tea drinking Bay Area resident than someone who was at war. Meanwhile, we got the enemy units that are cladded up in bearskin and chainmail, and the overall dichotomy is just silly. Honestly, the characters in this game come off as a bunch of weeb cosplayers pretending to be at war, and I reckon this would have worked if the story of the game ended up being a Monty Python Holy Grail ripoff, where we realize it was all a ruse and they were all just LARPing and the cops come in to arrest them. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Instead, the story presents itself as being very serious, like this game is some grand epic journey with high stakes. I honestly don't want to get into the game's story much more than that. It's just some generic fantasy snooze fest that they've done in other Fire Emblem games. But the gist of it is that basically everybody dies. As for my score for Fire Emblem Engage, I think I would give it a very unimpressive, embarrassing 3.4 out of 10. Intelligent Systems really needs to go back to the drawing board on this one, lest they want the Fire Emblem franchise to turn into what Pokemon has become.